Good morning. It is August 6th, 2024. Call to order the Story County Board of Supervisors. Please stand if you are able to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I don't believe there's any changes to the agenda, and if not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Basil?
Aye.
Hens, aye. Next is public comment number 1. This comment period is for the public to address topics on today's agenda. If anyone in the public meeting room would like to make public comment, please come forward, or if you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. Seeing nobody rush up, we'll close public comment number 1. We'll move on to consideration of proclamation recognizing August 7th, 2024 as Purple Heart Day. Supervisor Merkin, would you start us off?
Certainly. Whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by General George Washington in 1782. And whereas the Purple Heart was the first American service award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America.
And whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. And whereas Story County has a large, highly decorated veteran population, including many Purple Heart recipients.
And whereas Story County appreciates the sacrifices of Purple Heart recipients made in defending our freedoms and believe it is important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them the honor and support they have earned. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Story County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim August 7, 2024 as Purple Heart Day in Story County and encourage the citizens of the county to show their appreciation for the sacrifices of all Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, to acknowledge their courage, and to show them the honor and support they have so selflessly earned. I move the proclamation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens, aye. Did we want to do a picture right now, Bryce? Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. Yes, please come forward. I apologize.
That's all right. So good morning.
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 Good to sit here. I am Zach Skelton, the VA director, and I greatly appreciate this proclamation for August 7th being the Purple Heart Day. I'll make sure that this gets out to the veteran community. I assure you the line, whereas Story County has a large and highly decorated veteran population, is true. We do have many Purple Heart recipients in the future. When I've had a few more than a couple months under my belt, we will have them here as well for the picture. But we appreciate it, and we will make sure the word gets out to all of them. If I could have just a minute, I would just
Certainly.
like to point. So the Purple Heart, 1782 is when it came out as first military medal, first called the Military Badge of Military Merit, excuse me. And it was made by George Washington. It was a cloth Purple Heart. It was modernized in 1932 by General Douglas MacArthur to honor the exemplary actions of soldiers, brought back in as an award. And in 1942, the definition was narrowed to those who have wounded or died in service of the country. I point out this history because it shows our military tradition continues across the entirety of our nation's life so far. It is awarded uniquely to all ranks through all of that time. It is available to anybody representing the liberty within the United States. And the award itself represents the selfless service of the veterans and how they protect our nation's freedoms. I'd just like to give a quote from John F. Kennedy, who is the only president to be awarded a Purple Heart. He says, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Good to see you again. Okay.
Okay, next, we have agency reports. We have the Ames History Museum Annual American Rescue Act report. Morning, Cassie.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Casey Vance, Executive Director at the Ames History Museum, and just reporting annually on the money, what we're doing with the money that we received from the ARPA funds from you all. The project is going really, really well. We're in the home stretch, which is great. One of the biggest delays that we had with the project was the elevator. We put in a new elevator that's centrally located in the new addition that connects the Ames Pantorium building and our existing Ames History Museum building. So that'll be a really important component to get people accessibly up to the second floor where we have exhibits and things like that. But there was a delay, of course, with the elevator and you can't control the elevator, people. But it came last week, so it is getting installed right now. And hopefully that's like the last big piece. They're still working on a few like punch list items, but the majority of the rest of construction is done. So hopefully in the next few weeks here, we have occupancy, and we are planning to reopen this October. So be looking for more information about that coming soon. And we've started moving in some things to the first floor without the elevator, including we're in the middle of moving our collections into the new collections vault, which is on the first floor of the previous museum building. This is the first time ever all of our collections will fit on site in one room. So that'll be fantastic. And it's a long process to move everything from all the offsite places, but we've been working on that. Exhibits are also starting to get installed. The permanent exhibit, some pieces are installed right now, and our temporary exhibit, the first one will be quilts from our collection, which is really exciting because we've never been able to hang quilts flat on the wall. But now with the high ceilings on the second floor gallery, we'll be able to do that. So we can display 10 quilts in that room. That one hasn't started getting installed yet. Again, waiting for the elevator and occupancy and things, but that'll be really exciting. So it's going well. Questions?
No.
Excited to see it.
Excited.
Yeah.
Mhm. Can't
Mhm.
wait to see it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Okay, next we have City of Nevada Annual American Rescue Act report. Is anyone here from Nevada? Nope. Okay, we will move on. Colonesco School District.
Yes, we're on. Good morning, Mark Snavely. I'm the superintendent at Colonesco in Collins-Maxwell. I just took over there on July 1st, so I've kind of been running around crazy to start the new fiscal year. So I just want to give it an update on the Kids Club. We partnered with YSS and we're a year into this now. I wrote down a couple notes. I think we had about 10 students at some capacity last year roll through the program, and we open at 6:30 in the morning and close at 6 o'clock at night. So we have a combination of students that come just AM, just PM, or a combination of those, and then we also have the late start Monday where we have students that come in too. So we're open, a pretty wide variety of times to, help with, daycare needs of parents and things like that. So our best attendance has really been the Monday late starts. It's been a little bit slow getting things off the ground with this program. YSS told me up front, that first year is always really difficult and it kind of builds from there. We do have a sliding fee scale, so it's not like it's a free service, but it's pretty affordable and meets the needs of parents that way. So basically, we're in year 2 now. As we look to the new school year, we're working closely with YSS. They're helping us create a marketing video that going to release, about the time that students come back in the building, actually about a week before. We have our back to school night on August 22nd, which is a Wednesday night, and we plan to set up a table at both buildings to have a YSS person there to do signups and things like that, answer any questions that parents may have when they come through. That's a night where pretty much, most people come into the building to drop off supplies and things like that. So we're starting to, get enrollment in place for this year. Our staffing's been good. Luckily, we have YSS that helps with that. And I guess our goal this year is just be able to have more students to serve. It hurts us not being able to have preschool. As you know, there's a lot of regulations with preschool, and we would have had to have a full-time director on site and change some things with our playground. There's just a lot more parameters around that. So we did open up a special project in Zering at our school for preschool that's not necessarily related to this, but is meeting the needs of some of our parents as far as daycare, where we're able to, help out preschool families as well, just not part of this program, just because YSS does not serve preschool age. And they're, mainly because a lot of the requirements and things like that. So anyway, we're hitting the ground running for year 2 here, and I'll give you updates as they come along. But right now we're just in that enrollment process, getting the new school year started. So thanks for everything you've done. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them as well. So.
Are you working with Head Start then in Zering for the?
No, we just went through DHS.
Okay.
And obviously because, preschool has, they have to be certified through DHS and, all that kind of stuff. So it's just really an easier task for us to do that with our current teachers and associates on site. So I think we had 13 students that came part of that. And we just got certified through DHS to do it as a special project last year. And
Great.
And then the parents they paid for it is what they did. And so it worked out really well that way. So it wasn't really necessarily tied to this, but I thought it would be good to know just that we are trying to serve that age of students as well. And we wish we could go all the way down to birth, because we know that, where we live is a childcare desert, and there's not a lot of childcare in our area, but obviously that's not, funding wise, that's not possible to be able to do that, and staffing wise either. So, but we're trying to serve as many students and families as we can through this program. So.
Great. Well, one more thing while I've got you sitting here. I am working with Boost Together for Children and United Way of Story County to put out a survey to parents and families to find out what the actual needs are. We know there are needs, but to really zero in on that. So if you haven't gotten that information from the Boost director yet, just know it's coming. And if you can help us get that out to families, that would be great.
Yeah, we do a lot with Boost for sure. And then even United Way a little bit, but there's a lot of communication that comes from Boost, and our teachers, I'm in contact with them, and there's a lot of communication back and forth with families through that. And that's very helpful to us as well. So we
Great.
appreciate that. So.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, consideration of minutes. We have the 7/30/2024 Canvas minutes and the 7/30/2024 board minutes.
I would move approval of both sets of minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Faisal?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens, aye. Next up, consideration of personnel actions.
I move approval of personnel actions as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Faisal?
Aye.
Hens, aye. Consent agenda. Is anyone pulling anything from consent today? Nope. I'll take a motion then.
I would move approval of consent as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Faisal?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens, aye. We have no public hearing items or additional items. Departmental reports. We have General Assistance Quarterly Report. Good morning, Erin.
Morning. Rapid fire meeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Erin Rewerts, General Assistance Director. So this would be a quarterly report, but I also included a couple of paragraph or so of year-end kind of statistics for you. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the first paragraph kind of talks a little bit about how the end of our quarter, I had Chelsea Flack, who resigned. And then Zach started as the new VA director. So June was a very busy month for us. And I think May, actually, we had more applications in a month than we've ever had. So it was somewhere around 130 or something like that. So it was a lot. So then, there are some distinct differences, from last fiscal year to this fiscal year. We did serve 19 less households, which equated to about $11,000 dollars and some change, less for rent assistance and about $1,000 less assistance for utilities. We had 170 more denials and 138 more applicants. So the majority of our denials continue to be over income only or over income combined with another reason, because we've got a laundry list of reasons, but anywhere from around half a dozen reasons why you can get denied for assistance. So sometimes people are over income, but they're also a student, or they also haven't lived in Story County long enough, so we do keep track of all of those just so that we kind of know if it's just a single thing or if it's multiple. So our requests did increase by about 315,000. We keep track of all the applicants that come in and all the amount that they're requesting for rent and the amount that they're requesting for utilities. So that did grow quite a bit. Between Story County Good Neighbor and Salvation Army, there was around $43,000 more dollars expended for rent in FY24 than FY23. And then my next paragraph talks about the mandatory fees that we have for attorneys and transportation. I mean, it was this is the most it's ever been, and twice the people that we've ever had. So, and then busy time for seeing veterans, obviously, for a lot of reasons, because Zach is new. And so he and I combined, and he sat in on everything, and we're still doing things together. But last quarter, I saw 88 veterans or surviving spouses and filed about 33 claims. So it has slowed down there a little bit in the last few weeks to help us breathe, which is really nice. But people are knowing that Zach exists, and it's going well. So any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
All right.
Just without getting too much into the weeds, or
Mhm.
get into the weeds if you want to.
Okay.
Because you do keep track of the denials, and I see that, a vast majority of the claims are denied and the applications are denied. Because you know the reasons and all of that, do you have any suggestions that is it time to change anything in our criteria?
Yeah. I have thought about that, and probably talked about it with our service coordinators, even Zach, because we're working on doing VA and GA, together. It's and that kind of thing. So the income guidelines, we have, ever since we did that study on those several years ago, we have increased the income a couple percent each year. So that has changed. Whereas we had the same income guidelines for, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. And so we keep increasing those. We are still well below 100% poverty level. We haven't even touched that yet. We also do have a rule about losing a job in the last 90 days, either voluntarily or you get fired. And that's one of our denial reasons. So I think about that one a lot too, because I mean, if you lose a job or you voluntarily quit a job, you don't have any money coming in. So that makes sense why you're coming through our door.
It seems kind of judgmental.
Yeah.
People have the need, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably there because of the voluntarily quitting and not having a job, to go to when you quit. I'm guessing that's where, but it's a very good question, Linda, because these are denial reasons and things that have been in place since to my knowledge, the inception of the program.
Mhm.
So perhaps after all these years, there does need to be some changes.
So kind of off of Linda's question, is there one specific denial that you're besides, financial, is it the larger group is, oh, no, it's generally students or whatever? I'm
Mhm.
just trying to figure out, are you seeing the trend of it's of all our denials things, this particular one is the main one?
I kind of have focused on the over income one to get some statistics there just in the last few months. So I don't know what my second
Okay.
one is. The thing that has kind of remained the same over the last few years that I've looked at. I mean, so you can help somebody through the process, but they have to bring things back to you. We seem to be right around this 75 every time, so that applicants that don't return, their paperwork. And I think, yeah, my year-to-date total here is 75. Last year it was 78. So I think we could always maybe, count on the fact that percentage, there's going to be that percentage of people that aren't going to return, what they need to. So no, I can look and
Okay.
see what my highest second one is. I mean, when the over income takes over 65% of what, it's, yeah.
And the paperwork, the documents they have to bring back, do they have to bring that back in person? Or can they?
Oh,
email
no.
That?
So ever since COVID,
Okay.
they are allowed to email it, fax it, drop it in the Dropbox.
Mhm.
I mean, we have made it
Way more
acceptable.
flexible.
much easier for people. Yeah, it's more labor intensive for us, but it's easier
Okay.
for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and they leave with a checklist.
Mhm.
So they leave with something, that's tangible that says, this is what we need back from you.
Mhm.
Sometimes people probably get it paid some other way, and then
Right.
we just don't ever hear that too.
Right.
I think that's what happens maybe for some of them. Okay. What else?
I don't have any other questions.
No other
Yeah, if
questions?
you come up with some recommendations, we'd sure love to see them.
Mhm.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We have no other reports. Any upcoming agenda items?
Nope.
No. Maybe-
Working on another broadband grant, digital equity monies, and working with the MIPA, maybe a multi-county, so we want to have something to bring to the board soon.
Okay.
Or a grant, a regional grant request.
You. Next is time for public comment number 2, comments from the public on items not on this agenda. The board may not take any action on the comments due to the requirements of open meetings law, but may do so in the future. If anyone would like to make public comment that are here in the public meeting room, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close public comment number 2. Now it's time for liaison assignments, committee meeting updates and announcements. Supervisor Merkin, would you like to start out?
Yeah, in a minute. Yeah. Working just, I think this next week, just working on several projects. One of them is some possible field days for WMAs for the upcoming year. We're trying to get some larger field days put together. Have a grant webinar on the broadband grant tomorrow afternoon. Meeting with conservation again on Friday. And don't know what that is. Oh, another webinar. Got lots of webinars for some reason. And meeting next Monday on the digital equity grant that we're working on, hopefully making some progress there. It's due September 23rd, I believe. So we're moving on it right now. That's all I got.
Supervisor Faisal?
Yeah, kind of a light week for me this week. I have a Story County Reads meeting this afternoon. Tomorrow I have a NACO Justice and Public Safety meeting. Thursday I have a meeting with Conservation. Friday, meeting with a community member, and then right after that meeting with Gloria Betcher to talk about AI and cyber security. Friday afternoon, there's kind of a goodbye event for Nikki Port at the university. That I'm hoping to go to. Monday, there's the event or the training in Omaha Agricultural Threats Symposium that I just don't know if I can be that far away for.
And I'm not going because I've got a grant meeting that day. I was going to try, but I don't think I can make it.
Yeah,
No. I think the sheriff is going. They can bring us back some
Yeah.
good information.
yeah, it should be really interesting. That's all I've got.
Thank you. I've got a Board of Health meeting this afternoon. And tomorrow I have a CICS special meeting. The state came out with their new maps, so we are meeting tomorrow. Thursday, I'm in the office. I may leave a little early. I will be out of the office on Friday. Monday, I have an appointment at 8:30 in the morning, but I'll be in all day after that. So little light week stuff as well. If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Merkin,
Aye.
Basil,
Aye.
Hens, aye. We are adjourned.